Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 4.5 months, Bitcoin has entered a significant downwards trend, and people are still not bearish enough, in my opinion. I'm going to be showing you definitive evidence why I believe that Bitcoin has a lot lower to go. Now, I'm macro bullish. I believe the bull market will start by this year, and I think by the end of the year, we'll be at all-time highs on Bitcoin. But I'm also very realistic. I'm realistic about the fact that Bitcoin has been on a bullish rampage and needs to come down significantly. I've been listing my target since I called the 49K top perfectly, a rejection from 48K to 52K. I said we topped out at 49K. From that region, I've been calling targets 38.5K, 35K, 32K, and 28K. Now we're approaching our first target at 38K, and I don't think people are bearish enough. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin has finally broken its upwards trend. And you might be thinking, what do you mean finally broken its upwards trend? Bitcoin is down 19%. Well, I'll tell you what I mean. An upwards trend is not formed by percentage gain, percentage losses, corrective moves, bounces. It's nothing like that. An upwards trend is merely higher highs and higher lows. So right now, we've been in an upwards trend since September 11th on the bottom here. We've been seeing higher lows, as you can see on the screen, and higher highs that continue this whole time. So it's been about 3 or 4 months. In fact, it's been 4 months, 4.5 months, close to 4.5 months of upwards trend where we have not broken, right? We have not seen a lower low. And so the upwards trend has still been intact up until just a couple of days ago. In fact, up until yesterday when we came downwards and we broke that 40K support zone. So I will say right here, right now, for the first time in 4 months, close to 4.5 months, basically 130 days, Bitcoin has entered a downwards trend. And drawing in that line at 40K, which is where the recent low was that we needed to break below, you can see very clearly we've got a nice little rounding top formation here, and we should be going lower for Bitcoin. The question is, where will we be going? And this is a question we've answered on multiple occasions. We'll answer again in this video, but we'll also bring in some new context, right? A couple of things I want to look at first. Okay, we did a community poll 3 days ago with 2,100 votes. Most people think, in fact, the largest minority of people think that we should be seeing 38K or higher as the Bitcoin bottom. I don't think people necessarily understand how brutal this correction could be, okay? That's in my community, that's in my audience. Now, this is an audience, by the way, okay, who have been watching videos in which I called right here 12 days ago where my cursor is 48K to 52K major Bitcoin rejection imminent. I called the rejection perfectly. And I said from that point that we will be going to a minimum target of 38K. Now, 38K is the minimum target. We are only down on this move 19%, right? And we are on the doorstep of 38K right now, with 38.5K being just right over here, right? So right above 38.5K. I've said the whole time that 38.5K is our first target. It's the minimum target for this correction. But it's certainly not what I expected to see most people thinking that 38K would be the actual bottom. I think we'll go a little bit lower than 38K. I have many targets planted. Right, I have targets here. As you can see, the red lines on the screen here are the targets that I've been listing literally since 48 to 52K, so 49K. I listed these targets at that price region, right? 20% ago, right? We dropped down 20% since I listed these targets. So we were up here when I first listed these targets. I have not changed them since. My targets have always been 38.5K, 35K, 32K, and 28K. Now, that doesn't mean we need to reach all of those targets, specifically looking at 28K in that regard. I don't necessarily think we'll reach 28K, but I certainly do think it's a possibility. And I certainly do think we could go there without damaging the overall cyclical structure. We'll look at that in a second. Again, I think 28K is a little bit too optimistic. But I think these three targets over here, 38K is basically certain in my opinion. 35K and 32K are two targets that are very, relatively likely. You need to consider them quite seriously. Now, the fact that most people, the largest minority of people in my channel, 41% of people out of that amount of votes, right? So 2.1K votes, 41% of people think 38K will be the bottom or higher, is indicative of people being still too bullish in my opinion. Because if you look at what Bitcoin's actually done, we did this post 4 weeks ago, it still stands true, okay? I'll read it out to you. It has now been 232 days since Bitcoin has seen a 25% plus drawdown. The last time Bitcoin went this long without a drawdown of that side was 2011. Okay, I'll say it again. It has now been 232 days. It's 4 weeks ago we made this post, and now it's been 260. 260 days since Bitcoin has seen a 25 plus correction. 25% plus or more correction, right? The last time Bitcoin went this long without a drawdown of that side was 2011. 2011 was the last time we went down this long without seeing went on this long without seeing a 25% plus correction. Okay, for some reason my tongue isn't working. I can't pronounce the words correctly. But you read the post there, you know what I mean. The fact of the matter is, Bitcoin has been in an absolutely, unbelievable, really, bullish rampage. A rampage of which we have not seen since 2011. Okay, we've not seen this long without a pullback of 25% or more since 2011. 2011 was before the first halving, guys. Okay, in 2011, where was Bitcoin? I don't even know where it was, right? Let's go ahead and check. 2011, let's go to logarithmic chart. Bitcoin was down here all the way at the start of the TradingView chart at like $1. Okay, we have not seen a correction of 25% or more for the longest time since Bitcoin was at $1. All right, if that doesn't tell you that Bitcoin is too high right now, I do not know what will. I simply don't. Okay, the fact of the matter is Bitcoin is in the sky right now. It's moved too quickly without correction due to the ETF narrative, and we need to come down. And I think that targeting 38.5k, yes, it's a valid target. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it on the screen. But if you think that's all we're going to see, well, let me show you something right now, guys, right? So we spoke about the 25% correction. 38.5k from the top of 49k is only 21%. So if you think we're going to bottom at 38.5k or higher, you're not even expecting that trend to break. Right? You're not even expecting Bitcoin to go downwards more than 25%. You're expecting Bitcoin to remain, right, in a trend that has not been broken for 12 years, 13 years since Bitcoin was less than $1 in valuation. Okay? It seems very likely to me, very likely, that 38.5k will break to the downside. Okay, and that leaves us just using that basic logic, and that will leave us with our lower targets. What are our lowest targets, right? 35k, 32k, 28k. Okay, so how did I get 35k? 35k is a horizontal support zone in between 38.5 and 32, which are both major support zones as per volume profile. I can bring that up on the screen right now. In fact, I will. Right, volume profile shows you very clearly 38.5k and 32k, very major levels. 32k was, as you can see in this rectangle I'm drawing, 32 to 30k was the support zone that held us up during the 2021 bull market, and the resistance zone that held us down during the 2023 rallies. Okay, so 30 to 32k is really the most major macro resistance and support zone that Bitcoin has in general. So I think if we're being logical, 32k or 30k seems on the table and very much likely, but 35k is a kind of a optimistic bottom target. And then if we're looking for more pessimistic targets, we can actually look at this chart right here, which is the Fibonacci chart on Bitcoin. What you can see is that Fibonacci will show you, if we draw Fib from the top of a 2017 cycle to the bottom of a 2018 cycle, to the bottom of 2018 the bear market, and then we do the same thing in 2021 to 2023, we can see that Bitcoin actually went on a bullish rampage in 2019. It reached the light blue line on Fib right here, which is 0.618, okay, and then it corrected downwards and it bottomed out at 0.236. Not only did it bottom out at 0.236, the red line on Fib, pre-COVID, that is, COVID doesn't count. It also bottomed out on the Gaussian channel center line. Now, if we do the exact same thing in this cycle, okay, and please note we're at the same part of a cycle we were in 2019, we will go downwards and we will bottom out on the red line on Fibonacci and the center line of the Gaussian channel at 28k. Okay, so 28k is our lowest target, and it's very much on the table. We do have Fibonacci trends and Gaussian channel centerline trends to suggest that it is likely, right? Not likely, sorry, it is possible, very much possible. It would not damage the cyclical structure at all. Anything below 28k is very bad for Bitcoin. So if we go below 28k, I'm out of here, right? But going to 28k would not be that bad. To be honest with you, it wouldn't. It would be the lowest possible target we could do while remaining healthy, but it is a target and it is possible. Now, realistically, if we're being realistic, where do I think Bitcoin is actually going to bottom? I would say, below 38.5. I think that's our first target. We do need to consider it as a target. We do need to, treat it as such. We can't be shorting into 38.5k. It is a major support zone, right? We tested it for resistance multiple times before we broke the upside. 38.5k is a major level. We can't just disregard it at all. That's not what I'm saying we should do. I'm merely saying that it would be kind of pathetic if Bitcoin only went to that level, or at least very surprising. I'll put it that way. But yes, it is a target technically. But realistically, I'm looking for those lower targets. Again, the lower three targets, 35, 32, 28. Those are the targets I'm looking at for the actual bottom. Again, one more time, just so people don't get confused about what I think. I will still be considering 38.5k major support zone. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on the screen. Okay? Very simple. If we do see, major bullish indicators of that level, I'm not going to disregard them. But it does look like what will happen is we'll come down to 38.5 in a rounding top formation and then break below it with a neckline estimate target of that mid to low 30k region. That's what seems likely to me at this point in time. Obviously, the data could change. But yeah, right now, I think people still, as per my poll I did right here, they're too bullish. They're too bullish. They really are. Well, they're bearish, right? People are bearish, but they're not bearish enough. They're not quite understanding, I don't think, how high Bitcoin went in such a short period of time. And they're not quite understanding why Bitcoin could go a lot lower. I think people get into this mindset. They get into this bull market mindset. And we've done it a little bit too early this cycle, where since Bitcoin's been upwards, in an upwards trend for 4.5 months, without any sort of correction whatsoever, since Bitcoin basically 2x in valuation at a very strange part of the cycle, they've got into this mindset that Bitcoin's unstoppable now. We only need to see a small, correction for some breathing room, then we can continue back upwards. But if you're looking at the actual cyclical trends, this happens literally every single cycle. Literally every single cycle we see this. We see, major upwards trends, just after the bottom. We saw it in 2019 specifically. Okay, major upward trend just up after the bottom. And then we see a massive pullback before the halving, only for the bull market to actually kick off at the halving. This is like flushing out all the people who got too bullish too soon. And what I'm actually looking at, right, because I've got all these price targets, of course, but the RSI is really important as well. This ascending support line on the RSI is very important. I think we will reach that at around 38.5k potentially, and maybe even a little bit lower. But if we do reach that zone, people will be looking to buy on that zone. But the fact of the matter is, if we're looking at the previous cycles, like 2019, for example, we had a very similar ascending support line in the RSI. And when we reached it, we saw a small bounce. We saw a bounce right here, but eventually we broke it down. And I think we will break down this zone as well. So I do think there will be lower targets. I don't think 38.5k will be the bottom. But we'll see how it goes. And again, I'm not throwing out anything. I'm not disregarding anything, but we have now officially entered a downwards trend on Bitcoin. We have now, continued a trend, and look to break a trend, hopefully. I wouldn't really call it a trend, but we're now continuing the pattern of Bitcoin seeing, the longest period of time without a drawdown of 25% or more since 2011. It really is getting ridiculous at this point, and Bitcoin does need to be flushed out properly. I do believe that truly. Where will Ethereum go on this correction? I said it before, I say it again. Ethereum likely will hold this green box at around 1900. It could go a bit lower to this yellow line, but I think this 1900 box will hold on this correction. And total cryptocurrency market cap, I think we can say the same thing in regards to 1.32 trillion or even 1.42 trillion. One of those two levels should hold for support, I believe. At least on total cryptocurrency market cap. That's another 12% drop in the current price region, 13% drop. If we're looking at Bitcoin dropping another 13%, that would take us to the mid 30Ks. And as for Ethereum, if we dropped, say, 30%, that would take us to the yellow line, and the bottom of the green box would be 18%. So a lot of these levels line up with each other. Perhaps total cryptocurrency market cap could go a little lower than that. Perhaps we could look at something like this. 1.25 trillion, but these are things we can discuss closer to time. I haven't, to be fair, I haven't really looked into them too much. I'm just giving you rough targets here. Any of these three red lines looks like a bottom for total cryptocurrency market cap, and for Ethereum, the green box and potentially even the yellow line in a bad scenario. And then obviously for Bitcoin, as I've said multiple times, we're looking at 38.5, which is the unlikely bottom, but it is there, and 35, 32, 28, right? Guys, thank you for watching. I wanted to keep it short and sweet, get all the information out as quick as possible, because it's very necessary to keep, quick information here. I understand people don't want to be, have their time wasted. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, and also leave a comment, leave a like, and a few more things here I'm just going to show you quickly. If you value my analysis, you think I'm good at analysis, you can join the VIP group and you can get my altcoin trading signals, right? I give you buy signals on altcoins 3 to 4 times a week. Check out the VIP group on Telegram. We have the trading results PDF there. You can check out our fully transparent trading results with a 78.52% win rate over the course of 16 months. We then have exchanges for you, 2 separate cryptocurrency exchanges. Guys, you're trusting exchanges with your money. You have your money on exchanges, you're trading on exchanges, you're paying fees on exchanges. It's worth getting on a good one, right? So I have Bingx and Bitget. Bingx is global non-KYC. Bitget is global KYC minus the USA. Neither of them have been hacked before. They both have protection funds in case they are hacked, and they both have very low trading fees. I've handpicked these exchanges. I reached out to them. They did not reach out to me. So check them out. The referral links will be in the description below for discounts and trading fee bonuses, etc. The Crypto Academy Become a Trader 10-unit course. If If you want to learn how to trade, you want to learn how to do analysis like myself, you can check out this course. The website will show you everything you need to know about it, and the email address for contact is on the website. Perfect time to learn how to trade, guys. We're going into the bull market, so you want to get your knowledge up so you can get your profits up as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.